Welcome to DurgaSoft. As this is our first demo, let me first introduce about myself. Okay, I'm Divya. I have about 8+ years of experience into data analytics. I completed my master's in data science and I have experience in teaching all the data science subjects like SQL, Tableau, Power BI, Python, statistics, and machine learning. Okay, so today you are here to learn MySQL. Let me give the introduction of, let's see the first class of MySQL. Let's try to understand what is database, what is SQL. Let me give the introduction to SQL today. Okay, so yes, as you know, today is our first class and the duration of our course is 35 days, right? And this is a course content which we are going to cover, which I'll show you in a while in detail. Okay, before that, let me give you the introduction to databases. And of course, before that, if anyone is interested, you can just maybe given speak a little bit about yourself even in chat. Even you can unmute yourself and you can speak like, are you a fresher, are you currently working, do you have some basic knowledge on SQL, or are you completely new to SQL? If you want, you can just speak, you can just share about yourself. Anyone?
Yeah, hi, madam.
Hi
Good
Sandeep.
evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. I'm currently working in Infosys, madam,
Okay.
and I'm having an experience of 3+ years.
Okay.
I wanted to learn the SQL in the
Ah,
advanced topic. Is this
okay,
the
perfect.
course suitable for me to learn the advanced topics?
Of course, of course. This SQL and this SQL, as I said, going for, I mean, in a while I'll show you the course content.
Mhm.
Keeping every student in mind. Basically, in every batch, I'll get some mixed students, even who have 5+ years of experience, who are trying to learn some advanced concepts in SQL. Okay, who are
Mhm.
trying to transit their career into SQL developing, or else even freshers. So keeping everyone in mind, especially keeping non-IT candidates. Some of the non-IT students also, they want to transit their career into IT industry. So for them also, SQL is the best subject to learn. So keeping every person, every student in mind, I explain each and every concepts of SQL from scratch to the very advanced concepts. Even CTEs, stored procedures, Windows function will also covered in our course. Okay, each and
Uh,
every concept will be covered here, everything from scratch. If there is no I mean, if you don't know anything about SQL also, that will be fine if any student. Okay, because everything will be explained from the scratch only.
okay. Actually, I'm facing a problem that when I see a big queries, right, I am unable to
Hmm.
debug and I am unable to debug that queries and understand that queries, madam.
I
Is that
understand.
yes?
Yeah, that is what in the initial phases, that is what we will face. That is a normal problem. So you need to be thorough on each and every concepts of SQL. You need to practice, then you can easily understand and debug any query, no problem. Okay, we will
Mm,
discuss all the advanced concepts and no problem.
thank you.
And the specialty of my course is that, not, I will explain each and every concept, not by using simple employees table or students table like that. I will
Mm,
use a live project called as movies database or OTT platform database, by using which, that is, by using a real time project, we will learn each and every concept where we will have thousands of rows, so that it will be a kind of, you will feel you got some hands on experience in working with real time database. If you are a complete fresher also, instead of learning by using normal 2 3 rows of tables, if you deal a big database in the learning process itself, then it will be easily. And of course, if we are using a big database, we can able to frame examples also very in a better way. Even advanced concepts like if it is join subqueries, we can frame the questions very perfectly, right?
yes,
Perfect. Okay,
thank
thank
you.
you, Sandeep. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone, or else do you want me to start the class? Okay, let me start. So first of all, let's discuss a little bit about the importance of data. As we all know, we are generating lots and lots of data nowadays, right? Especially from few years ago. If we think, uh, suppose, yeah, if you really think, from the demonetization happen, suddenly what happened in the overnight, in the one day, everyone started using digital payments, right? Previously we used to maintain cash, we used to do all cash payments only, but from that particular day, we everyone, we installed Paytms, we started using Google Pays, Phone Pays. We all are doing currently also, we all are doing online payments, online transactions only, right? Due to which, of course, what is happening, if we are doing online transaction, obviously we are generating data only out of that also, right? Whatever payment we did, to what, to who, I mean the person to whom we paid, that person details, transaction details, everything will be stored in the form of data only. And especially from the COVID time, from the whenever COVID pandemic came, from that time we are using everything on online, right? Maybe we are using online shopping, we are watching movies also in OTT platforms, we are even doing work from homes. Of course, today is also we connected in online to learn something, right? We are depending on more and more online platforms only. We are using so many social media applications like maybe Facebook, Instagram, right? YouTube. By doing all these things, basically what we are doing in the sense, we are generating data only. So from the COVID, I can say the data generation is became so much. We are generating lots and lots of data. Previously also we used to generate the data, like if we talk some maybe many years ago, let's go to actually ages, many ages ago. What, let's talk about some generations, okay? In the initial days, everything was made man made, right? Everything was made, I mean, in some, before industries came into existence, everything was made manually only. Then industries came into existence, machines came into existence, so machine took that particular thing, right? So their work is done little bit faster. Then computers came into existence. Here industries came into existence, next computers came into existence. Once computer came into existence, of course the work is the, the, we did all the tasks faster, right? When comparing to the things what they done manually. Maybe in computers also, by using only computers also, they used to store the data by using some files like maybe Excel files, which I am using right now, maybe text files, right? Some PDFs like that. They used to use mainly Excel files and they can store the data, right? But at that time, there is this much of data generation is not there, frankly, right? However, we are depending on the, online platforms. We are depending on the more all these things, online things especially. We are generating lots and lots of data today. SQL is, or even data science, even data analytics, it don't stick up to only one domain, right? Each and every domain. If you talk about IT industry, if you talk about medical industry, if you talk about any electrical showrooms, if anything, any kind of domain it is, it can be finance, it can be mechanical, it can be banking. In each and every field, you know data is generating a lot, each and every field. That is the reason data science is having this much demand in the market right now. Data science is nothing but all about the data, right? The basic thing is maintaining the data, storing the data. From there only, that is the start, right? Definitely without SQL there is no data, there is no data science, there is no data analytics, correct? Not only data analytics, if you talk about full stack development also, or else testing also, whatever it is, SQL, I can say SQL is the backbone for complete IT industry, whatever domain you choose. And whatever, as I am saying, I just said very simply that by using all these online applications, we are generating data. You may think how we are generating data. Let me take an example of Amazon. Okay, Amazon. We all know about Amazon. We will buy many products from Amazon. Suppose I ordered something in Amazon. What will happen basically? Whenever I ordered any product, definitely the data will be generated, right? What kind of data? It can be order details data, something like maybe what product I ordered, like product details like product name, product price, right? If there is any product ID, supplier details, supplier name, and customer details about me, my customer address, customer name, right? All these are nothing but data only, correct? If I order only one product, this many details will be saved in the Amazon's database. Why database? In the sense, previously they used to store data in the form of Excel files, but we have some disadvantages or drawbacks in Excel file, which we will discuss after a couple of days. Okay, due to that disadvantages, databases came into existence. Database is something where we will store, where we can able to store huge amount of data altogether. Okay, suppose, of course, going forward I'll discuss limitations of Excel in very detailedly, but let me tell you one disadvantage here. First drawback of Excel is that we can store up to 1 million rows only in Excel file. What if I need to store more than 1 million rows? I cannot store there. So, however, our data generation is increased, the usage of, everything we depends on online right now, right? So as we are generating lots and lots of data, definitely there should be some good systems to maintain all the data together, right? The reason why I'm saying all these things in the sense, just to make us understand, just to realize the importance of databases in our in this current world. For example, let me tell you one more thing here. We will install so many applications, right? Maybe you installed any one application, and let me talk about any OTT platform only. Suppose you install Netflix. Okay, while once you install, they will ask you to use your email ID or mobile number to log in, right? So what will happen? Suppose you gave your any of your Gmail ID. Okay, if you remember, while registering yourself, while creating your own Gmail ID, they will ask some details like your name, of course, right? Your Gmail ID will be created. Along with that, you need to give your phone number, right? And if you remember, or else you can even check, they will ask your gender and age also. So your name, your phone number, your gender, your age, your mail ID, will all these details will they we will we are giving all these details to that particular Google. If we are using Gmail ID, all these details will be stored in their database. And if you use the same Gmail ID to install, suppose Netflix or whatever application we are using, so many apps, we all know that we will log in either by using phone number or either by using Gmail ID. If you are using the same detail, same number or same mail ID which you, I mean, which I'm suppose whatever you created, what, and after you will use the mail ID and you will log into the Netflix, and after installing, definitely we will agree to some conditions, right? So by default we are giving permissions to the Netflix people to access the data whatever we gave to the Google while creating our Gmail ID. That means this Netflix people will also get our gender, our mail ID, our mobile number, our Gmail ID, our name. Along with that, obviously we will give location permissions also, where we are located. All these details will we will directly or indirectly we are giving to each and every app whatever we are using in our smartphones today, right? Why they will store all these details? First of all, just to analyze their data. Okay, and only one user this many details daily, on daily basis, how many users they will have? Definitely to store all this data, they need to use a better, a better management system, a better something. They're used to maintain some system where they can analyze everything, they can store everything, they can maintain their data in a perfect manner. That is nothing but a database. Okay, just to relate all the things, just to make you understand the importance of SQL, I explained this example. Okay, here comes the database concept of database. It is nothing but, if I tell you the technical definition of database, it is nothing but collection of data where we will store all the data together. Okay, that is called as a database. Now what is SQL? Definition of, I mean, full form of SQL, of course we know, it's nothing but structured query language, right? We all know that. Structured query language. Then what is the exact definition of SQL? In the sense, before explaining the exact definition of SQL, Let me give you one example. Okay. As I said, by keeping every student in mind, by keeping non-IT students also in mind, I wanted to give you one small example to make you relate to the things. Okay. So, example, imagine this is one school. Okay. In which maybe I'm talking about some 10th class, in which we have some sections 10th A, 10th B, 10th C, like that. I'm talking about 10th A section. Okay. In this class, what they will do, they will maintain one register. Maybe in our childhood also, we in our class, in my class, actually, they used to maintain one physical register where they used to store the, I mean, they used to take the attendance. Okay. Here also, I'm taking the same example. Imagine in this school also, in this class also, they are maintaining a physical registers where they are maintaining the students details, something like maybe student id, student name, okay, maybe their marks data, or else maybe their attendance, something like this, some data they are maintaining here. Okay. So one day what happened, the principal of the school wanted to analyze the attendance of the students, or else maybe the marks of the students, and what he did, he called his peon. He called his peon and he said to his peon that go to 10th A section and bring the register for him. Okay. Then peon understood. He went to the 10th class, 10th A section. He brought the register and he gave the register back to the principal. And the principal analyzed whatever he wanted to see. Okay. Suppose in this scenario, they stored the data in the form of physical register. Let's replace this with the database. Okay. Let's imagine if it is a if it is a college where, suppose instead of physical registers, even they can store the data in the form of computers. Inside computers, they can store the data in the form of Excel files also. Or else, imagine this is a big university, something like JNTU University, where they are having some thousands and thousands of students. Okay, so instead of storing the data in the form of Excel files, they are directly storing the data in the form of databases. Imagine. Okay, instead of registers here, they are storing the data in the databases. Now, what will happen? Did I? Okay. Okay, no problem. So just a second. Instead of register, okay, maybe this is what I explained, right? This peon will go and he will give this. Okay. Now imagine that. Let me change the color. Instead of this registers, physical registers, they are maintaining the database. This is a database. Inside database only they are storing the data. Now in this scenario also, principal wanted to analyze the data. So whenever he analyzed the data, in previous example, what happened actually, whenever he analyzed, whenever he wanted to analyze the data, what he did, he called his peon and he said to his peon that go and bring the register for me. Right. Now, if they store the database in the, if they store the data inside a database, what principal should do here in the sense, maybe in the previous example, to explain his requirement, he might use some language. It can be English, it can be Hindi, right? To tell the peon that go to particular section and bring the register, right? However, he used some language, then only peon will understand what principal need, and he went to the class and he brought the register. However, he used English language there. Here also, if he wanted to see the data inside a database, he should use a language called as SQL. SQL is a language which is actually used to communicate with the database. Whenever principal wanted to see some data which is stored inside the database, he need to use SQL. By using SQL only, he can able to get the data whatever he wanted to analyze. Am I clear? What is database and what is SQL? Everyone? However, in the previous example, he used English language or maybe a Hindi language to tell to Pune that go and bring the register, just to communicate what he want. Here also, whenever the data is stored in the database, to communicate his requirements, principal should use SQL as a language in between. Okay. So I can say what is SQL now. The technical definition is of SQL is nothing but, here let me write here. SQL is nothing but it is a language use it to communicate with the database. Okay. I hope it is clear. what is SQL and what is database. Database is a place where we will store all the data, and whenever we wanted to see any kind of data, we will use SQL as a language to communicate with the database. In SQL, basically we will have something called as syntaxes, I can say, something called as queries, I can say. By writing these queries, we will actually get the data according to our requirement. Okay, I hope it is clear. Let's keep this session interactive, guys. Okay, so if there is any doubt, you can stop me and you can ask me. Okay, now I said we will first store the data inside the database, but how we will store, in the sense, first we'll create database. Inside a database, we will create tables. Okay, inside the tables, we will store the data. Okay, so every time we will create tables inside database, and inside tables only we will store the data. Let me take one example here. Maybe I wanted to store some employees table, employees data. How I need to store here? I'll create employees table. In that, maybe whatever details I wanted to give, I'll give some columns. Okay, employee ID. Tables is nothing but it is a collection of rows and columns. Okay, rows and columns. So let's see. Maybe I'm storing employee ID, employee name. Okay, salary, date of joining. 4 columns I'm storing, and I'll give some data randomly very quickly. And salary, maybe date of joining. Okay, so this employees will be our table name. And as I said, table, every table is a collection of row and column. Okay, vertical thing is called as column. That is, I'm having 4 columns here. Employee ID is 1 column, employee name is 1 column, salary is 1 column, date of joining is 1 column. And horizontal thing is called as row. That is, I'm having 2 rows of data here. This is first row of data, this is second row of data. Okay, I'm having 4 columns and 2 rows in this particular table. This is how we will write the table in a Excel file. But in a while we will see how we are going to create this same table and how we are going to insert the data in SQL files in inside a database. Okay, so now let me tell you one more point here. We understood what is SQL, that is okay. And I said that we are here to learn MySQL. Then what is MySQL here, right? So SQL is nothing but it is a universally declared language. Okay, use it to communicate with the database. Whatever concepts we have, those all concepts belongs to SQL only. But MySQL is a is a tool. It is a type of database. We have different databases in the market. Something like maybe MySQL, Oracle SQL, SQL Server. I mean SQL Server. Sorry. So MySQL, Oracle SQL, SQL Server, PostgreSQL, like that, we have so many databases in the market. Okay, we have so many tools, we have so many databases in the market. Suppose MySQL and Oracle SQL is a tool from Oracle company, SQL Server is a tool from Microsoft company. Like that, as we have so many companies in the market, they have their own products. Okay, these are different products. Like, however, smartphone is one only, but we have so many companies in it, right? Maybe OnePlus, Samsung, iPhone, like that. The same. SQL is one subject in which we have so many products, right? Whatever product, whatever I wrote here, MySQL, Oracle, SQL, SQL Server, the reason why I'm explaining why we are using MySQL, in the sense it is an open source product. Open source in the sense it is freely available for everyone, and due to this reason, and they have some additional features for safety purpose also and security purpose also, which I'll explain while in going forward. Okay, while we are discussing about update command. So because of this reason, many companies are using MySQL only nowadays. But of course, whatever concepts you learn in our class, you can use the same queries in Oracle SQL and SQL Server also. The queries will be same, no problem. It's not like if you learn MySQL and if you join in any company and if they are using SQL Server, no need to worry. The concepts will be same, queries will be same, syntaxes will be same. You can use whatever you learn here, you can use the same thing over there also. Okay. I hope I'm clear up to here. We have something called as RDBMS. Okay. RDBMS is nothing but relational database management system. Okay. It's nothing but what is RDBMS in the sense? Actually, we have two types of SQLs. Okay. One is SQL, one is another one is no SQL. Okay. So what is SQL in the sense? As I said you just now, we will create database. Inside database, we will create tables, right? So what is SQL in the sense? We will store all the data inside tables. Okay. And if all the tables are related with each other, if all the tables are related with each other, then we will call it as RDBMS. Okay, relational database management system. So all these tools whatever I wrote here, MySQL, Oracle SQL, SQL Server, PostgreSQL, all of them are RDBMS only. All of them will follow RDBMS technique only. That means on in all of these softwares tables will be related with each other. Okay, so whatever you learn here, the syntaxes will be same for all the other softwares. Whereas no SQL in the sense their tables won't be related with each other. There is no relationship between the tables. And the example for no SQL is MongoDB. This is different again. Okay, if you learn MySQL, you cannot use MongoDB. That is different. But remaining other databases all are same. Okay. I hope I gave you much clarity about what is SQL, what is database, what is MySQL, right? A basic understanding. Please respond, guys. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. So if that is so, let me show you. Let's use MySQL Workbench. Okay, once we are done with demo classes, I'll show you the installation process of MySQL. Okay, now let me show you the user interface. Maybe I'll close all these files. Give me a second. Okay, so let me reopen this. I'll show you the installation process going forward. After installing, if you open MySQL Workbench, you can able to see like this. Okay, where you can see local instance, you need to click on it and you can able to see like this. Okay, so towards the left side, you can see something called as schemas, and below schemas, whatever you can see, this is nothing but list of databases available. In my system I'm having this many databases. These are all the database names. Okay, but by default whenever you install the system, install the software, you can able to see only sys database. Okay, once you create once you create any other database, you can see that particular names also. Okay, so this is the list of the databases available. Okay, and at the bottom you can see information section. Suppose if I'm clicking on any table, it will show me how many columns I am having, what are all the data types I'm having. Going forward, we will see all the details. Basically, it will give us in the information section. Okay, here you can see something called as query one. This is nothing but a SQL file. Okay, here this is the editor where we will write all the SQL queries. Okay, to open this file, we have two methods. Suppose this thing, as you know, this is menu bar and this is toolbar. Okay, in the menu bar we have file option. We need to click on file. In that new query tab, if I click on new query tab, one more a new SQL file will be opened for me. Even I can open this by using a shortcut, that is first icon in the toolbar. This icon, first icon in the toolbar. Okay, so if I click this first icon, I can able to open a new file again. like this. Here, this is the place where we will write the queries, and after writing, we can save the file by clicking on the save option. We can just save it in any of our system, in any of our folders. Okay. And if you want to open already saved files, you need to click on this folder icon. Okay. If I'm clicking on this folder icon, it is allowing me to actually open a already saved files. Suppose I'm opening one file, click on open. Like this, you can able to see. Maybe joins two. Okay. Like this, you can able to see. So this is the thing to open the already saved files. This is to save the file. And third, this is execute button. After writing every query, you need to execute, right? This is the execute button. Okay. And at the bottom, this is the output section. You can find the output here. Okay. For now, these options are enough. Going forward, we will see remaining options. Okay. So first, let's create our first database. But before creating the database, let me tell you some points here. Okay. So first of all, SQL is case insensitive. That means you can use uppercase or lowercase, no problem. It is case insensitive. Anything is fine. Okay. And the second point is that we have something called as comments here. In every programming language, we'll have something called as comments. Okay. So what is comments in the sense, if we write anything inside comments, that is non-executable. If you see here, I wrote this line in by using this symbol. This is nothing but a comment here. Okay. So we have two types of comments, that is single line comment and multi-line comments. Okay. So single line comment, to use single line comment, we can use two symbols. One symbol is this one. Okay, let me remove this. So one is this symbol which I already used, or else even we can use hash. Anything is fine. First you need to write this symbol. After writing that symbol, whatever you write, that is non-executable. As in notes. Suppose in my classes, whatever notes I'll say, whatever theory part I will say, I'll write inside comments. So in while working also, if you don't want to execute any line, you can just keep it comments like this before that. Okay. And multi-line comments, to show the multi-line comments, we need to write like this, hash star, and you can write anything here. After writing everything, you need to use star and hash. So this is the start of the comment, hash and star, and then in between how many lines you want, something like a paragraph, you can write something. After that, this is the end of the comment. Okay, whatever you, as multiple lines, we can write it inside here in these symbols. Okay, whatever you don't want to execute, you can use single line or multi-line comments like this. Okay, these are some basic points to understand before starting uh, everything. Okay, so let's first create, as I said, we have something called as syntax. Okay, syntax is nothing but, maybe you can understand, it is a kind of rule or it is a kind of formula which we need to use to do every task in SQL. Okay, we have syntaxes for each and everything here. Okay, likewise, let's create our first database. Okay, so to create the database also, we will have a syntax. Our syntax is create database, database name. Okay, the syntax is like this. We need to remember the syntaxes, of course. Anyways, if you practice going forward, you will remember all the syntaxes, no worries. Okay, so the syntax of database is create database, database name. Let's do that. So create database. Let me give the database name as SQL demo, but before that, let me delete this. I already have the database, so I'm just deleting. Okay, every time database name should be unique. Okay, definitely we need to give the unique name. So I'm giving this database name as SQL demo. Okay, so if you observe this, everything whatever I wrote before, I wrote something like notes. That is the reason I used comments before. Here, this one I'm going to execute this. That is the reason I didn't use any comments, right? Now I'll select this and I'll execute by clicking this icon. Okay, You can see here, this is the output section. You can see green color tick mark here. That means it got executed successfully. If you get any error, you can see red color cross mark, and you can able to read the error message also in this section only. Okay, now the database is created. So SQL demo, to reflect this database in this list, we can refresh here. We have a refresh icon here. If I refresh, I can able to see the SQL demo here, right? Like that we created our first database. Now every time whenever we wanted to use database, we need to activate the database. Okay, why to activate the database? In the sense, of course, here you can see I'm having so many databases, right? So every time SQL, we need to tell to the SQL that what database we are going to use. Just to let SQL know what is the database we are going to use, we need to activate the database. Or else, without activating, if we execute any queries, SQL will throw error because it will get confused to which database it should basically inside which database it should execute that query. So to avoid that confusion, we need to activate the database by using use command. The syntax will be use database name. Okay, use database name. So I'll write it as use SQL demo. Okay, every time we need to do this. I'm executing this and observe now my SQL demo database is got highlighted, right? You can see it went into dark black bold color characters. So by seeing like this, you can understand this database is in activation. Whatever queries you execute going forward, all that queries will be executed inside this database only. Okay. And if you observe, inside every database, we have four sections: tables, views, stored procedures, functions. Anyways, we will learn each and everything here, but first we will focus on tables. Okay, we created the database, we activated the database. Now let's create a table. I hope I'm clear whatever I'm saying. Any confusion? If I'm going fast, if there is any doubt, you can ask me. Even in chat box also, you can just reply. I hope it is clear. So let's see how to create our first table. Okay, so to create the table also, of course, we have a syntax, that is create table, table name. Okay, table name. If you see in Excel file, we just wrote one table, right? Here if you can see, employees is our table name. In this I used 4 columns, 2 rows. So every time while defining employees, the same table, now we are going to write a query to, let's create it inside SQL. Okay, so every time while creating the table, you need to give the table name, and you need to define the column names. How many columns you want, that column names you need to define. So table name, after writing table name, within the brackets we'll call them technically parentheses. Okay, within the parentheses we need to give the column name. Suppose column name 1. After defining every column name, we need to define the data type. What is data type? I'll explain in a while. Okay, so let me write now like this: data type. Next column name 2, data type. Like that. How many columns you want, that many column names you can define. Okay. So this is how we will, this is a create table syntax. Okay. Table name, column names. For every column name, we need to define the data types. How many columns we want, that many column names we'll give, and at the end we'll close the bracket. Okay. Now let's see what is data type. So before explaining, let me show you an Excel file only. Suppose this is a table which I wrote here, employees table. This is salary column. Okay, instead of 7,000, if I wrote hello, it is accepting. It is not saying me that, okay, okay, this is a salary column. You need to enter numbers only. You are supposed to enter salary. You need to enter numbers only. Instead of entering numbers, you enter some random data. You enter some hello. Whatever you are entering, even in date also, whatever you are entering, it will accept. It won't say me that this is a date column. You are supposed to enter date. Right? It is not throwing me any error. It is not stopping me. Whatever I'm entering, it is just accepting. Right? This is one of the drawback or disadvantage of Excel file. It won't stop if we are entering knowingly or unknowingly. If we are entering any wrong data, irrelevant data, it won't stop us or it won't alert us. It will accept whatever we will enter, right? This is one of the biggest drawback of Excel file, which we overcome that drawback by using data types concept. Data type is nothing but it is data type will decide what kind of value. Data type is first of all used to decide what kind of value we can store inside any database. Okay, by using data types only, it actually data types only decide what kind of value we can store inside database. That is, suppose here if I am entering textual data also, it is accepting, right? But actually I'm supposed to enter only numbers here, so that is what this will check. This according to whatever data types we define, that particular data only we can able to enter. If you're trying to enter any other data, it will throw us error. Okay, so yeah, this is about data type. Now let's see how many types of data types are there. Mainly we will have numeric data type. Okay, next character data type, character or string data type. Next date data type. Okay, instead of showing like this, let me show you one pic. You can see mostly we will use these three data types. One is numeric data type, second one is character or string data type, third one is date and time data type. Okay, again numeric data type divides into two types. One is int and the second one is float. Okay, what is int? In the sense, if we want to store only numbers, then we can use int. Along with the numbers, if we wanted to use decimals, sometimes we can enter decimals. We need to enter decimals also, right? So whenever we wanted to use decimals, we need to define float. But here float will accept numbers as well as decimals. Okay, next character or string data type, again we have two types. One is char and one is varchar. What is char, what is varchar, why, when we will, I mean why we will use it, what is the difference, I will explain you in a while. Okay, next I'm having date and time data. Again it divides into two types. One is date data type and the second one is date time data type. If I want to store only date, I'll use this one. If I want to store date and time, then I'll use date time data type. Okay, these are all our data types. Date time data type, as I said, we have int and float here. Okay, in character we have char and varchar. In date time we have date and date time data type. Okay, and we have one format here to store the dates. Every time we need to use the same format, that is first year, complete year, then month, then date. You need to definitely use this format only. If you use any other format, it won't accept. Okay, this is about date. If you want to store date time, and the format for that is year, month, date, along with that hour, minute, second. This format only you need to use. Okay, and one more point here, every time whenever we are defining character data, we need to define size also. Okay, what is this size, why we will define, I'll explain you just now. Okay, as we understood this many data types, along with these three data types, sometimes we can able to see boolean data type also. In this only two values are acceptable, that is false and true and false. Okay, and let's get back to our create table syntax. Let's create a table. I'm just copying the syntax at the bottom. Okay, as we understood data types, let's create a table now. So maybe I'll create the same employees table whatever we gave here, right? So in columns we will define, I'll write it as create table employees. Okay, within the brackets let me give employee ID. Okay, employee ID, I'm having my employee ID numbers only, so definitely I need to use int data type, right? That is what I'll write, int. Okay, after defining column name, we need to define the data type, then comma. Next, second column, employee name. So employee name, obviously we will have character data. So for now, I'll define char as a data type. Okay. What is char and varchar? I'll explain you in a while. Okay. For now, I'm defining char data type. And as I said, whenever we will define data type, I said one point that we will define size also. How we will define size? After writing char or varchar, within the brackets, we need to define some size. Okay, what is this size indicates in the sense? Here I'm defining the size as 10. That means I'm allocating 10 bytes of memory for this particular employee name column. That is, I can able to store up to 10 characters only. 10 letter word only I can store. If I'm entering any 11 letter word, 12 letter word, it will throw me error, because one byte of memory will allocate one character here. Okay, I'll explain you the while explaining what is char and varchar, I'll explain you about this very detailing. Okay, for now just understand I define char as a data type, and I define size as 10. Next, maybe salary. Okay, for salary, maybe sometimes I may have decimal values also, like 1.2 lakhs, right? So for that I'll use float, because float will accept numbers, normal numbers as well as decimal values, right? Next, maybe date of joining, doj, I'll give like this, and I will define data type as date. Okay, this is how I'll define a table. I'll create a table. Create table, table name, column name. For each column name, accordingly, I'll give the data types. According to this data type only, I'm supposed to enter the data. As I define int here, I can enter only numbers. As I define char, I can enter only characters. Here I can enter decimal values and numbers. Here I can enter only date, like that. Okay, and last, we need to close the bracket, and let me create my first table. I selected it. I'm executing this. Now the table got created. Let's refresh and let's check. I'm refreshing here. You can see now I can able to expand tables, and I got my employees table. If I'm selecting the tables here, you can see the same information in the information section. Table name is employees. Columns, I'm having 4 columns. For each column, what is the data type we defined, you can able to see here, right? Like that. This is how we created the table. What we learned today, we saw how to create the database, we activated the database, we created the table, we understood what is the data type, and we saw how many data types are there, right? Let's insert the data. To insert the data, because as you can see in Excel file, I just entered data like this. But by using create syntax only, I can create the table structure. To insert the data inside it, I need to use insert command. Okay, insert command is used to insert the data, and the syntax is, okay, insert into table name values, and then I need to give values inside the brackets. Let me give here insert into table name, that is employees. As I said, MySQL is case insensitive. So that is the reason here I used capital letter, here I use small letter also, that is okay. Right? Then within the brackets, I need to insert the values in the same sequence of column names. First employee ID, so I'll give 1, comma, employee name. Every time whenever you are using character data, you need to give quotes, either single quotes or double quotes, anything is fine. I'm entering name as Ram, comma, salary, maybe I'll give 60,000 as salary, and dates. For dates also we need to use quotes, and the syntax, I mean the format, definitely we need to follow year, then month, then date, right? So if you observe here, this is my first row of data. In this, each and every column is separated by a comma. Whenever sequence is comma, it will understand this is first column data, second column, third column, like that. When the bracket is closed, it will understand this is first row of data. After that, I'll keep a comma and I'll start entering my second row of data, like 2, maybe Sam. I'm giving some random data here, maybe 70,000, comma. I'll keep it down. Okay, and let me enter date as 2021. Okay, this is my second row, and let me enter 3 rows. Okay, so maybe John, maybe if you observe here, every time what I'm doing, whenever we give character data and whenever we give date data, we need to use quotes. It can be single quote, it can be double quote, that should be fine, but definitely we need to give some quotes here. Okay, single quotes or double quotes, anything is okay. Okay, here also I missed giving quotes in a hurry. Let me give. Right now. Okay, so I'm inserting the data now. Okay, I given the values, I given 4 rows here. I'm selecting the data, I'm executing. Okay, just a second, maybe some mistake I did. Where insert into employees. Okay, values, right? My bad. I missed a keyword called as values. After that I need to write this thing. So you can see if you did any mistake, if it is syntax error, it will show us error in your syntax. Okay, so let me select and let's execute. You can see it got executed successfully. Okay, now I created the table structure, I inserted the data. To display the data, I need to use select command. Select is used to display the data. Okay, so the syntax will be select a star from table name. Okay, this star is nothing but technically we will call it as asterisk. Okay, so use it to display complete data. Whenever we wanted to see the complete data, we will use star. I need to write it as select star from table name, that is employees. Okay, like this. If I select and execute, I can able to see the output of the table which we created. Okay, 4 columns: employee ID, employee name, salary, date of joining, and 4 rows I gave, right? This is how we can able to view the output by using select command. Whenever I wanted to see the complete data, I'll use star, and if I wanted to see any particular data, then I'll use that particular column name, something like maybe employee name column comma salary. If I wanted to see only those 2 data, I need to write like this. Okay, let me select, let me execute. You can observe employee name and salary, right? This is how we will actually display the data. That is how. So what we learned today, we understood the user interface of data MySQL. We created database, we activated database, we created table, we saw how many data, what is data types, how many data types are there. Let me explain char and varchar in tomorrow's class. Okay, and we created table, we inserted data, we displayed the data, right? I hope this is very basics, and I hope whatever I explained today, that is clear for you, right? Tomorrow I'll explain the difference between char and varchar, and I'll continue with the next concept. But before that, let me quickly explain what is the course content which we are going to cover in our course. Okay, first introduction to database and SQL, which we covered today. Limitations of Excel. Maybe I'll explain it in a couple of days. Then creation of database and tables, which we are done today. MySQL installation. Once we are done with demo classes, I'll explain. Data types also we are done. Tomorrow I'll start explaining SQL commands. That is, we have sub languages concept, in which we have 5 sub languages. Okay, that is DDL, DML, DCL, TCL, and DQL. Under each sub language, we have so many commands which we will learn very practically tomorrow. Okay, then integrity constraints. We have some constraints in SQL like primary key, foreign key, check constraint, default constraint, not null constraint. Okay, unique constraint. We will learn all constraints, why we will use them by solving some examples. So up to here, this is the very basics of SQL. And up to this concept, up to integrity constraints, I'll explain by using sample data, maybe like employees table, students table, like that. Okay, any users table, orders table, I'll create small tables and I'll explain. Once I'll done explaining these concepts, here I'll give you a real-time database. Okay, I'll explain you the database. I'll show you how to restore that database in your systems, and then we will start our main concepts from here. Our next important concept is operators and clauses. We have some operators and clauses where we will use this concept very frequently in real time. We'll have some clauses like where clause, order by clause, okay, limit clause, distinct clause. Okay, and we have some operators like or operator and not. Okay, range operator, membership operator, and mainly like operator. Like operator is something which is used to find patterns in the data. If we wanted to, display the data on any, based on any particular patterns of the data, then we will use like operator. We have some wildcards in it. We will learn everything very practically. Each and every concept from here, we will use this real-time database and we will solve many examples, okay, on that by using the same database. Next, functions concept. We have some inbuilt functions like numeric functions, character function, date function, aggregate functions. In each of this type, again, we are having so many functions, inbuilt functions. We will learn all of them very practically. Next, joins concept, most important concept of SQL. I believe joins is a backbone for complete SQL. However, SQL is a backbone for complete IT industry. Joins is a backbone for SQL. In real time, we will use joins a lot. Okay, whatever domain you choose, you will, if you are working on SQL, you will use joins definitely. So we have so many types of joins like inner join, left join, right join, outer join, self join, cross join, natural join. Okay, and mainly we will use four joins here: inner, left, right, and outer joins. Okay, so we will solve many examples on joins, not only the examples which we solved in the class. Only on this particular concept, I'll give some assignment questions for you, just for your practice purpose. If you want, if you're interested only, you can solve that queries. Okay, I'll give some time. After maybe 1 week of time, I'll again explain the same questions in the class itself, class also, so that you can check whether you can able to solve the questions or not. Okay, only for this concept I'll follow this process because this is important. After that, one more important concept, that is regular expression. Okay, regular expression is also same like operators, only we will have some anchors in it. Again, we will use this for some you know pattern matching of the data. If we wanted to find some patterns of the data, we will use regular expression. Especially in full stack also, we will use regular expression, right? Next, group by clause, having clause, some more clauses again. Here we learned clauses, right? But to understand group by clause and having clause, we need to understand joins, so that is the reason I mentioned it here. And we will learn how to use aggregate function also inside group by clause. Okay, so up to here, if you are thorough in SQL, I can say you can do very easily any kind of SQL developer role. Okay, along with that, we will discuss, we will explain, we will learn some more advanced concepts by solving examples, and that are subqueries. We have so many types of subqueries like correlated subquery, non-correlated subquery, single row subquery, multi-row subquery. We will discuss everything very detailing. Next, normalizations. I can bet you in any other institutes, they, if they include this concept, they will only explain you theoretically. But here I'll take one real-time raw data and I'll show how we are actually changing, how we are actually converting denormalized data into normalized form by using these three normal forms. Okay, basically we will get data from the clients, right? Whenever we are getting data from the client, we will get raw data only. We will call that data as denormalization, denormalized form. I'll explain what is that and why we will convert it into normalized form. While converting, we will use this three forms. We will see everything practically. Next, ER diagrams, views concept, indexes concept, some more important concepts, of course. Temporary tables, which is used to remove duplicate data at a time. Okay, CTE is nothing but common table expression. This is one more advanced concept. Of course, if you are, if you talk, if you can able to, if you know any persons who are working currently as SQL developers with 3 or 4 years of experience also, if you ask them about CTEs, most of the candidates don't know about this concept. It is an advanced concept. I'll explain that also very practically. Okay, next, important concepts, that is store procedures and windows concepts. Store procedures, very regularly we will use them in real time to make our work faster. Okay, where we can store so many queries inside a store procedure. And window function, this is also one more very important concept. In recent times, in every interview, uh, you know we can able to see this question. Okay, before, to be frank, I also didn't included this concept in my course, but upon the students request, I added this concept also into the course content, because nowadays everyone, I mean, in every interview you can expect at least one question from windows function, like maybe difference between rank and dense rank, or else any function. We have five functions here: rank, dense rank, row number, lead, and lag. Okay, so at the end we will discuss some important interview questions also. This is about the course content. I covered each and every concept. Starting from the scratch to the very advanced concepts, we will discuss each and every concepts by solving many examples and by using this real-time database. The specialty of my course is this database, and one more specialty is that after each and every concept, I will upload this SQL files. I don't believe in giving theory kind of notes, okay? Like any PDFs and all. I'll give you this direct SQL files here where you can find if there is any notes. Okay, if there is any notes directly, you can maybe let me open anything. See, if there is any notes, I'll give here only, and at the bottom you can see the syntaxes. If you have any examples, you can see examples here itself, like this. So that whenever you are trying to whenever you wanted to revise, you can revise very easily on one go by seeing one file, right? So whenever yeah, this is about our first class. I hope it is clear, and if you are interested, you can just get registered with us. I already shared the details in the chat box. As you attended the class, you even get a mail from our team where you can find the details. Okay, and once you got registered, you will get a video access of our daily classes, and you will get the access for 6 months. And I'll upload the notes. You can use that notes also. Okay, any questions, anyone, you can ask me. I hope it is clear. Anyone, any questions?
Madam, what about the software?
I'll within couple of days, once we will done with demo classes, I will show you. Don't worry, okay? Anyone, you can bring your laptops. I will ask you to share your screen, and I'll show you practically how to install the software.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, perfect. All right, guys. Tomorrow is also demo class only. Just attend the class. Okay. Tomorrow, let's learn about sub languages. Okay, and yes, after that you can decide if you like, you can just join. And one more thing I forgot to say, actually one important point, this is a kind of add-on batch. I already started a batch last week at 6 o'clock. Okay, if you are okay with 6 o'clock, I'll just join you people into the 6 o'clock, or else that students are also willing to join into the 7 o'clock. Anyways, we are going to merge two batches. Okay, so they are just done with two concepts. Once we are done with that two concepts, I'll merge the batches. So whatever time is comfortable, that is okay, because I already asked to that students, they are okay with this timing. Okay, anyways, we can decide about the timing going forward. But tomorrow is also demo class. Just attend it, and then if you're interested, you can get registered. Okay, all right guys, then let's meet in tomorrow's class. Bye.